Mason Wynn's home run has given the Cardinals a 4-2 lead. He's 22 years old. He has an arm that suggests he could play for the Battlehawks in town. And, you know, you just called him, Wayno, the most improved player on this roster, which is, you know, in a year that has not had a lot of good signs at points. Silver lining for the Cardinals as Arenado handles Freddie Freeman on one of those balls we were discussing earlier to the left side of the infield.
Well, some of the stars in the middle of the lineup that hadn't played as well as we know they can and are maybe going to, gave opportunities for other people to step up, and Mason Wynn did in a big way. Burleson did in a big way. But Mason's been awesome out there. I think he's leading the league in defensive runs saved at shortstop also, playing a great field too.
These have both been pretty strong defensive teams, both in the top 10 by defensive runs saved for the year as a group.
Look at the great organizations out there. That's usually going to be a trait.
And even more so, typically the teams with the worst records do have the worst defenses. Like top 15 will be generally good teams.
Funny how that works, huh?
Isn't it? As pitchers, again, I know that makes you very sane on the mound when your defense kicks it all over the place. On the ground, second base, and Gorman. I want to show you our sleeper picks, sponsored by, as you might expect, Mattress Firm. We showed you how close the NL West race is. Blake Snell finally, a couple weeks ago, got that complete game. It was a no-hitter. Jake McCarthy's been great. Jackson Merrill, another young, super talented player. And the Padres staying afloat with the Tatis injury.
That NL West that is going to be a wild ride down the stretch.
A couple weeks ago, I was at Wrigley with AJ Pierzynski. We were talking about the Diamondbacks playing the Cubs, and I suggested, what if the Diamondbacks got back into the race? And AJ looked at me like I had three heads, which is normally a really good reaction, and usually pretty sound.
He looks at a lot of people like that.
Well, it's rightful. Mason Wynn, 3 ground balls. Palante doing exactly what you expect. Dodgers, Cardinals tonight. Cardinals trying to break a 5-game losing streak. and jump back into this wild card race as Lars Nootbaar takes a hack at the first pitch he sees. Strike one. The Dodgers are 3 games up in the National League West. The Cardinals at this point are 10 games out of first, and Milwaukee actually has the largest division lead in all of Major League Baseball right now, with what this division looked like earlier this year. Kind of a surprise. Nootbaar into left center field it goes, and a nice run by Pages out there in left engulfs the baseball for out number 1.
This is a tough play for an outfielder running in the gap. You got to make sure you're on the balls of your feet right here, or that ball will be bouncing around all over the place. With the lead, oh, at the very end of his glove, little snow cone action. Good catch. Good swing by Nootbaar, but good catch by Pages.
That last step was so important, got him in position. Nice play. As there's ball 1 to Goldschmidt. Third base side, Kike Hernandez as out number 2. It is Players Weekend, we mentioned. Paul Goldschmidt had himself a Players Weekend event here in St. Louis. Little clinic for Goldie.
If you have your chest pointed like this, you can't get any power. You guys know each other? We gotta make it great. Everybody on this side.
See those calves?
Goldie.
Dude's got some strong legs, man.
To first base. Freeman knocks it down and recovers. He stayed calm and finished the deal on a 5-pitch inning for Ryan Brazier. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow at Play Ball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Andre Palante, 82 pitches so far, and a first pitch strike. There's that sinker again, bearing inside to a right-handed bat in Rojas, who's 1 for 2.
And that's a very important pitch to a guy like Rojas, who loves the fastball middle in. To throw him and you can get that call just off the plate, that opens the outside corner up dramatically.
There's a sinker inside that ends up being a Schinberger for Rojas.
Loves the ball middle in. You throw him 2 straight fastballs in off the plate, got him swinging in there. Outside is wide open.
You're going slider here.
Slider, fastball away, whatever you want to do away is wide open now.
Oh, 2. We came back in one more time. Palante this year's only gone 7 in the majors once. That was in Pittsburgh in a Cardinal win in 10 innings. That wasn't strike to ball enough.
That was, yeah, if it started out, so that started out on the corner, worked away. If that starts off in the middle of the plate and works to the corner, it's probably strike 3. Do you know what a pleasant surprise this was for Ollie? That was the one right there, just a little higher. You think you got a guy who's battling, maybe going to take a few starts until Steven Matz comes back, and then all of a sudden you've got a guy who's really solidified the back end of that rotation, and maybe could argue should be more towards the front of that rotation the way he's pitched. I'm really proud of him, man. He's doing great.
Ollie Marmol said, look, I mean, if he keeps pitching like this, it would be very difficult to take him out of the rotation. 3-2. And that misses ball 4. Second walk for Palante. Tomorrow, the NFL preseason kicks off on Fox. It's the Saints against the San Francisco 49ers. It all begins tomorrow, 8 Eastern on Fox, the home of Super Bowl 59, the defending NFC champs. Tomorrow against New Orleans.
I am so ready for football.
I see it in your eyes.
I love the NFL. I love football. And it's so good for the clubhouse. You know, you need, as a player, you play 162, you need an outlet. I love this right here, this mound meeting. Andre tying his shoe, resetting his mind. And I'll tell you right here about Palante. This was a guy who had a lot of self-doubt coming into this season. Last year, a lot of self-doubt when he was out there. He has completely changed that 180. He's been confident. You see the results as a starter. He wants to be a starter. This is where he's comfortable. I don't see any reason the Cards should take him out of that rotation when they get healthy.
I mean, early in the year, remember, he did not spend the entire season on the Major League roster. He got optioned in April to short win, speeds it to second, throw to first, not in time from Gorman. It's very close. The Cardinals do have their challenge. We'll see if Ollie Marmol in the video room decide to hit that button.
You think they'd have had a challenge still if they'd have challenged in the first?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really? You didn't see that on the ground?
No, I do. I agree with you. I think it hit the ground. It's safe, but
kind of jammed that hip in there a little bit.
I agree with you on the ball that Betts caught down the right field line early in the game. But if you aren't certain it's an overturn, I don't know if you can do it. Now,
so you're saying you weren't certain?
No, I was pretty certain, but you would have to then tell me that every baseball game you've watched since instant replay jumped into our game, that every time you've been certain, you've been right. Is that true?
Well, I'm 100% right all the time.
Okay,
Jason.
All right.
Except for that one time I thought I was wrong and I was actually right.
I feel like I'm an anchor man. 100% of the time, it works all the time.
Oh, just ask my wife, right? No, she would argue that point.
Ball and a strike on Kiermaier. You saw the bullpen starting up. Jojo Romero is getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen.
That was a huge out to come back after the walk. So many times you earn those last couple innings when you go out there and you reward your manager who lets you go back out. You reward him with a clean inning. He walks the leadoff hitter after getting ahead. He came back, walked him, but then he came back and stayed within himself, got the soft ground ball. That was huge.
He'd like another one here. Throw to first. You mentioned Steven Matz. Kenny, Lance Lynn's return might affect the rotation as well.
Absolutely. And I asked Palante yesterday about what it's like trying to keep going, knowing these guys are coming back and conceivably you could lose your spot. And he said, listen, when I got to the major leagues, I had to learn to block out all the noise, and not just the kind of thing about your role and your future with the team, but also the crowds. He said before he got to the majors, the biggest crowd he pitched in front of was an A-ball in the old New York Penn League in Mahoning Valley, 4,000 on a July 4th. So he said this was a new experience too, pitching in front of crowds, and he's just learned to focus on what he can.
The Scrappers, the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, get a mention tonight. Thank you, Ken. 2-2 is outside by a hair, and you saw Kiermaier back away as if to say, please tell me that was ball 3.
It's a close one. Just off the plate. The pitch before, the fastball down, 2-1. Gets the swing over on a ball 6 inches below the plate. You just don't see that on fastballs out of pitchers. That's a unique pitch.
Second base, right at Gorman. Wynn pours it across. That's a double play. He's a ground ball dispenser tonight, Andre Palante. You got a smile on your face because that's exactly what a pitcher wants. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Papa John's. Every Busch Stadium through the years, from the old turf that felt like cement to this beautiful new ballpark that has kept up so well and has seen so many big moments, a number of them that you were a part of, Adam. But it's a great baseball town, two great baseball towns, Los Angeles and St. Louis. And the first pitch from Brent Honeywell Jr. is a foul ball for strike one. And anybody who likes pitching quirks is excited when this gentleman comes into the game, because he is the rare guy who throws a screwball.
And it's a good one, too. Here it is.
There it is.
It's funky looking, man. It gets me very in love with baseball when I'm watching Brent Honeywell pitch. Good Georgia boy, too.
Ground ball first base side. And Freddie Freeman for out number one. So Mike Marshall taught his cousin Brent Honeywell Sr. the pitch back in the 80s. Then Brent has a kid, and it gets passed along through the family to Brent Honeywell Jr.
How about that?
It's a really effective pitch. It disappears to both hands. I mean, essentially, you're talking about a breaking ball that goes the other direction.
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly what it is. You just don't see that. But hasn't he had like 4 Tommy John surgeries?
He's had some health issues. That's right. You feel like Christy Mathewson has morphed into Fernando Valenzuela, has morphed into Brent Honeywell Jr.
Love it. This is usually when it comes. He does the good four seam at the top. It's almost always followed by the screwball burying into this, down and into these right-handed hitters. See if he goes to it.
The reactions from hitters are just awesome to watch.
It is.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. Now, Wynn is a very good down ball hitter, so he's going to have to make sure he gets it all the way down there if he does it.
And then he actually throws a regular breaking ball
Yeah.
as well, so he's basically using that X to crisscross the two.
Come on, Brent. We're trying to highlight something here.
You normally don't have to wait too long for him to throw it. There's a slider again. It's a little bit like going to Europe and renting a car. Watching a screwball.
You don't see screwballs. It's so fun.
You feel like you're going the wrong way. There it is.
Look at him. Look out there. Wynn looks out there like, what in the world was that? Even though he knows what that is.
Yeah.
He's never seen that.
Right field. Mookie Betts. Round number 2. Time for our pitcher profile, sponsored by Wendy's. It was the original starter at the outset of this series. He was supposed to throw today. Tyler Glasnow, first-time All-Star, career highs in strikeouts. He goes on the IL yesterday, and you chatted with him.
Yeah.
Ken Rosenthal talked about it off the top of the show. The hope is to get him back. What was your sense after talking with him?
Well, one thing, he was just super frustrated because, you know, this is a Cy Young caliber pitcher. Absolutely has some of the best stuff in all of baseball, all-star. You know, the fact that he's a first-time all-star is very surprising.
Yeah.
He just can't stay healthy.
Line drive left field, base hit for Burleson, who's got 3 hits tonight.
But he's throwing, you know, he's throwing mid to upper 90s. He's got crazy extension way out over the mound. And it just goes to show you that throwing a baseball can be pretty hard on your body. It's just not, you know, he's a big, strong guy. You'd think he'd be able to handle it, but not everybody is lucky like that. You know, his body type or whatever it is, throwing motion, something has made it hard for him to stay healthy. But man, the talent there, you know, you could just see on his face, he's so frustrated because he wants to be out there helping this team.
Especially with all of their injuries. I mean, they have Kershaw back, but it almost feels like they get somebody back and then they lose somebody again.
Well, I saw a general sense like he really cared. You know, he's like really hurt about not being out there, and I really appreciated that about him. You know, everybody wants to be out there. Nobody wants to be hurt.
But this is like half of the list of guys who have been hurt and on the IL as pitchers or position players this year. Max Muncy, the hope is to get him back next week. Blake Trinan, a nice bullpen piece, certainly late in games. Gratterall as well.
2 big pieces in your bullpen, 2 big pieces in your starting rotation right there. And the piece Tommy Edman, he hadn't even been added into that yet, but he's healthy. He's out on rehab. You take 2 guys out of the starting rotation and 2 of your back end guys out of the bullpen off any team in baseball, they're going to struggle. It's going to be hard, and they're still winning the division. That speaks to the rest of their talent.
And I think some Dodgers fans would say you probably need more depth, but what you'd say to it is like other franchises would be cratering.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. And they're 20 games over 500.
Yeah. Padres are up 2-0. So that lead in the division at 3 games right now. Padres are leading the Rockies after 3 at Coors Field. Would you rather pitch at Coors Field or in Cincinnati, Bueno?
Well, check the stats. Check the stats. I pitched very well in Colorado, and if I had never pitched in Cincinnati, you could take a whole point off my career ERA. Places from the devil. Sorry, Reds fans.
No, you're not.
But I'm not sorry.
You're not sorry to you're sorry to like the people who really adore the ballpark, I feel like.
Sorry to all the people who got their foreheads hit by home runs hit off me in that crowd.
Wasn't there a thing last year where you dressed up to leave the day before, like the second day in, just to like?
Yeah, I did, man. I was so ready to leave. I packed up my bag, brought it into the clubhouse, wore my suit.
That's outside. It's ball 4.
That was the first. Nobody had ever seen that one before.
Yeah.
Getaway day was one day before me.
Sneak up on you. For those of you in Southern California, you can catch the finale of this series between the Cardinals and Dodgers tomorrow exclusively on Spectrum Sportsnet LA. Pre-game coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Clayton Kershaw will be on the hill for the Dodgers and kind of Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw.
To
the whole name guy.
Join us. Every time I hear his name now, I'm going to think of that.
I want to highlight something real quick about Honeywell. He threw that ball just so I could do it. This is one of the most old school guys there is. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Kenny's got something for us. Kenny,
go for it.
What do you got?
Well, my all-time favorite Adam Wainwright quote revolves around Great American Ballpark, and I believe it was last year, and he mentioned the Devil just a minute ago.
Yeah.
But he called the ballpark the Devil's Lair.
Yes.
And that was harsh.
Yeah. Truth hurts, though, Kenny. Truth hurts.
Have you, Kenny, in all your years covering baseball, have you ever heard a better quote about a ballpark?
That was pretty good. I can't think of one off the top of my head that was better, but that was pretty darn good.
2-0, lifted center field. Kiermaier charging and breaking it down to make the catch. Top of the order coming for the Dodgers. They need a couple runs. 4-2 to the 8th. Take a look at Fox Foresight powered by Google Cloud. The Dodgers are at about 10%, 11% win probability. They are an 8th inning plus strong offense. And we'll see how it goes against the Cardinal bullpen thanks to Google Cloud for powering these real-time insights. And totally against the grain, 9 days ago, Jojo Romero gave up his first home run to a left-hander all year. That was Brandon Lau of Tampa Bay. He'll face Kike Hernandez first, and then Ohtani, then Betts and Freeman after that. And Dave Roberts, has such a luxury of building this lineup where he has stars from both sides of the plate, and he can alternate and make it difficult to find a corridor or pocket for any team's relief corps.
JoJo's very, very tough, obviously, like you said, against left-handers, but he's got the pitches to get right-handers out also. This was a great trade for the Phillies and the Cardinals. Traded Edmundo Sosa.
To third, Arenado. Nice scoop. There is gold all over that play. One down.
What a play. He makes that play look easy, and that's not an easy play. Got the fresh haircut. Watch this glove right here. You see how he works through the ball with the glove right there? He doesn't try to stick it where it is. He works through the ball with his glove, and that's the key to making those hops come up like you want to. He's the best there's ever been at that, maybe.
I mean, he has the mantle to prove it. One down, Shohei Ohtani, who is, when you look at weighted runs created plus, league average is 100. You'd like to be at 100, to be an average player against the same hand. He is 126 against lefties, 189 against righties. Here's his last at bat.
Gets the breaking ball up. Thigh high up out over the plate. That is where Shohei sends balls to die on the regular, lefty or righty. And I broke his, I break all these numbers down, and I'm looking at him left and right. The home runs against lefties are almost mimicking the home runs from righties in the same zones and same locations. It doesn't matter to him left or right.
Romero got him to stick out the backside and a fly ball to left. That's as off balance as you're going to see him. 2 down.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you see the way he swings. Newbar has this swing too. They swing. They look like they're falling out of the box right there. Shohei looks like he's flying open, but his bat path through the zone is able to cover all the way to the outside corner. It's really kind of remarkable.
Yeah, that's a swing and miss for most guys. Yeah,
absolutely.
Here is Mookie Betts. First pitch, he snaps at it and fouls it away. Strike one. Cardinals during this 5-game losing streak have had 4 games with 3 or fewer runs. They've scored 4 tonight. 3 games with 6 or fewer hits. They've got more than that this evening. And the hope is, and Ollie Marmol said this, we got to score enough and have our rotation and bullpen be what it was during the middle of this season. But if you, as you said off the top of the show, Wayno, if you can get Arenado and Goldschmidt, the stars to be stars, playing above where they are this year, but to the back of the card for their careers, you might have something.
Yeah, you look at that month that they had, that they were the best team in baseball, about 6 weeks actually. Goodness. About 6 weeks actually. They led the league in ERA, in the bullpen, and in their starting rotation. And they would love to be able to win a lot of different ways.
Left field side, Mookie Betts gives it a ride to the warning track. It goes, and Donovan makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 inning against a tough pocket for Romero. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Google Cloud, the official AI partner of MLB. Catch the game like never before with Google Cloud AI. An invitation to go crazy, folks.
Go crazy, go crazy. Cannot believe what I just saw.
You said it during the break. That's like multiple iconic calls in one
Home
call.
run by the Wizard. Like, there's like 3 or 4 iconic calls in the one play.
Some of us are trying to have one at any given, some of the great ones do it 3 times in one call.
Yeah. It looked like he hit it off Miles Michaelis.
Was not Miles Michaelis.
I know, but it looked like Miles.
It's awesome.
Like, just like this guy looks like he pitched in a different era too. Uh-oh.
That ball's drilled. Deep left field, Arenado crushes this ball. What a sight for sore eyes for himself and Cardinal fans.
It's a great swing. Looked like a fastball up and in. Oh, yeah. You see what Nolan does better than anyone else in baseball is he keeps that box in his swing so well. He never lets that hand roll over. He keeps that left arm bent through the swing. He can pull his hands inside of anything and keep it fair that way.
So what is it that makes these 6 weeks like that for him? How does that happen?
Well, I'm telling you, man, if you get him going, Goldie's sneaking up. He's got 19 home runs. If Goldie and Arenado can get hot and hit the ball over the fence. Oh, somebody's popcorn went flying.
Up the middle, the shortstop. Nick Ahmed.
Miles Michaelis fresh off of giving up the home run to Ozzie Smith.
Made his way into the dugout in a different stadium.
Yeah. No, but if you can get Arenado and Goldschmidt slugging the ball down the stretch, it changes the entire Cardinals lineup. Those top 2 guys are getting on, like we said.
By the way, the home run came right at the outset of the inning, but we should note Freddie Freeman is out of the ballgame. He's been switched out of the game, so they've changed their infield defense with Rojas coming in at third. And Freeman was going to lead off the next half inning, but Teoscar Hernandez was on deck during